And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, it is now January 23rd, one day after the very first pay-per-view event of the season for the UFC. We had two championship fights, the flyweights, and then all the way up to the heavyweights. We're going to talk about if it was a show that we were liking, expecting it to go that way. Were we excited? Were we not? Josh Thompson, you were up in Idaho watching it with a bunch of old guys from the old AKA. How you doing, Bubba? You cold?
No, it is cold. I walked out of the house this morning. It was 11 degrees. I was like, God, there was a frost on the floor across the streets. Yeah, just came up, got some family stuff going on, and so we wanted to come up and spend some time with some family for the weekend. I was actually supposed to do a charity golf tournament down in L.A. and in Pebble Beach area there with some stuff, but that ended up falling through because of coming up here. But this is life, my friend, and we are trugging along. It is cold here. It's been beautiful here, though. The sun's been out. We haven't got any fresh snow while I've been here, but I got to see a lot of old friends from high school, a lot of old friends from, just around, from people that I've known for years. And I even taught a little class over at Trevor Prangley's AKA, which is pretty awesome because Trevor Prangley has been a long friend of mine for the longest time. And I think I've known him since 95. I think 96 is when we met. And been buddy ever since then, man. He's a good guy, and it's been a pleasure, man. His gym has grown so much. So if you guys live in the North Idaho area, his gym is enormous now. He's got a 10,000 square foot gym. He's got probably 250 members in his gym. It's absolutely amazing. Jiu-jitsu was, he probably had about 60 people that came out to the class I taught. Pretty awesome. It was good. We had a good time. Nice little program. And then you know what? We're using a studio here in Idaho at the Coeur d'Alene Press. But Chance Watson in the North Idaho now, they have a podcast as well. So if you guys are living in the Northwest, they're letting us use their studio while we do this. So I want to thank them for letting us do that, man. Podcast Dave called all the way around and around this town and was able to find someone to go ahead and give us a studio so we didn't have to do it in the hotel room. And it's been awesome. Good. So we're trying to get this ball rolling. So if you guys live in the North Idaho area, check out North Idaho Now podcast. All right. Well, what did you think of the shows last night? What do you think?
Actually, I wasn't disappointed. Obviously, the fights didn't go the way people wanted or thought they could or any of that. But there were some really good fights. If we're gonna start off, let's start off with the big heavyweight match: Francis Ngannou against Ciryl. It was not what people expected because they expected the complete opposite. If they're gonna have someone that was gonna be grappling, they were thinking that it was going to be Ciryl Gane, and it was not. But it showed the evolution of Francis Ngannou, and this is the whole point. This is MMA. You can't be that one-trick pony because if Francis Ngannou had stayed with trying to be on his feet the entire fight, he would have lost that fight. It was the grappling portion that ended up winning the fight, winning the championship, putting a mark on Ciryl Gane's record. It was the grappling, and you got to give the man credit. He came in his sport. I want to say 4 years ago, 5 years, well, more than that, probably 5-6 years ago, I had the fight where he pulled a Kimura off on Anthony Hamilton, and it was like, where the hell did that come from? Well, obviously, he had learned a little bit when he was in France there, and he got that submission, but you could tell he learned a lot as far as his grappling. The takedown was beautiful in the beginning, catching the off of the kick, picking him up, taking him down. The body positioning was, you can tell there's levels to this, and he was doing the right things. He was putting his hands in the right places at times. He was taking away that posting arm. He was doing a lot of good things. Now, could he have done more? Yeah, and I would have loved to have seen a little bit more. But you're not the guy that's down there holding on to this other monster that's trying to get up, and you can't feel that. So it could have been he had to hold on for a lot of that and not strike and do the things that you would have liked to have seen. But overall, I'm not disappointed in the fight. I actually thought that, it was interesting. It had some drama to it. The change in what was occurring was good for me. And I thought the judging was right. They got it right. Francis Ngannou deserved the win. And overall, Ciryl Gane, I think, is going to come back a much better fighter. I think he learned a lesson. His corner needs to learn a lesson. because this corner absolutely did not help him going into that 5th round. There were some things that were said that you go, what are you doing? Not good.
Well, if some of you guys listened to us last week when we were talking about the UFC and the main event and the heavyweights and everything getting going, you guys could have taken our advice, won a little extra money. We had the right winner and how the fight was going to get done. But go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code weighing in, where most people made some money off of us from our calls and the decisions in which we made for these main events. Now, there was some fights, obviously, we weren't always right on, but we did narrow it down to some good stuff for you guys to pick and choose, especially in the in-between and round bettings. So you guys go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code weighing in. There's also a QR code right over there. You guys can use that one. And when you guys use that QR code, it takes you right to our page. You guys can do your initial deposit, which they will give you a little bit of extra spending cash with that QR code at mybookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. We've got some Bellator fights coming up this weekend. You've got the NFL playoffs that are happening as well. Go ahead and there's plenty of sports to gamble on right now to try to make a little extra cash during these times. But make sure you guys use our promo code weighing in at mybookie.ag. Yeah, you want to avoid cornermen who make it about them. Now, I know there's a history of it all, but look, there's been a rotating door of trainers that have come through AKA that started they did it because they loved it when they first came. And as the fighters that they were working with started to get a little bit of notoriety and started making their way up, they wanted to make it about them. Like, can I go in the ring? Can I go in the cage? Whatever it is, like, I want to be the one that wraps the hand. I need to be the one that puts the Vaseline on. It got to the point where, like, that fighters make it about them. Then the the corners make it about them. And then the fighters start to feel that pressure of whatever the corner does and says and those type of things. So that's just not something that you need to be dealing with as a fighter, especially the week of the fight. And I feel if this coach had just kept his mouth shut, I think throughout, it probably wouldn't have made as much of an impact on maybe Ciryl Gane's, position throughout the week or whatever throughout the camp. I guess when I look at the fight last night, John, there was moments in the 5th round when he got taken down, he wanted just to lay back and just be like, I lost the takedown, which he did a couple times, and he made a couple bonehead mistakes in the 5th as well. But every time he did that, you could see him look over at his corner. And it's like, I think a little bit of that added pressure. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. I don't know.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing.
And this is when Ferdinand said, we can't lose this fight. It's not we.
Yeah.
And it's not about we can't lose. This is what you need to do going out into this 5th round. I think that it's even. I think that, he's ahead, whatever you want to say. Give him that information. It is going to let him know this is what I have to do. Yeah. Sitting there saying we can't lose this fight. Come on, man. That's not what should be. You look at what was going on in Francis Ngannou, and I'm going to praise Eric Nixick to the end. Him and Dewey Cooper did a fantastic job with Ngannou, because especially after the 4th, Ngannou was tired coming back, man. He was exhausted. And
after the 4th, John, you mean after the 1st?
Well, okay, but I'm going off of what occurred. And you saw Eric, he starts just, man, are we having fun? And he's taking his mind off of that heart rate and everything. And he says, give me 4 deep breaths. Look, this is what we're having fun now. This is what I told you what he was going to do. He's doing the right things. Mm-hmm. He's getting that mind in the right fucking frame to go out. I'm tired, but this is what I want. This is good. There's a positive side and there's a negative side. And you never, if you don't have to, you never bring that negative into that cage as a cornerman. Always positive things. Always, this is where we need to go. This is what I need to see from you. Here's where you want to put this fight. Those are all positive things. It's never the negative.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think as a coach, you need to separate yourself from the fact that it is a we that we are doing this together. But it's not that we need to win this fight. It's not that we need to,
There's only one guy in that cage.
There's only one guy in that cage and needs to do all the work. And he did all the work during the camp as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna preface this by I'm gonna go back and say some things. to take my foot out of my mouth. Ciryl Gane looked great. No, because I thought he looked good. Look, I thought he was sticking and moving. He came out with the right game plan. He started to wrestle a little bit. And remember what I said? I said, he doesn't need to get the takedowns. He just needs to make Ngannou think that he needs to get the takedowns. And so that keeps Ngannou's hands loyal. And if you notice, Ngannou didn't throw a lot of shots after he came out and started wrestling right away. After Ciryl started wrestling right away, Ngannou didn't really throw as much in those first couple rounds. He didn't really throw a lot the whole damn fight. And so I understand why, because the threat of the takedown is legit. And the last thing you want is someone like Gane on top of you, who is, I feel like, I don't know if he's more athletic, but he is more mobile, and so the athleticism, I guess, can be judged by however you want to judge it. The 40-yard sprint, the box jump.
Fluid.
But he is more fluid. Yeah. And so his mobility, and you don't want someone like that on top of you. If you notice, Ciryl, he did a good job of getting up from the bottom several times.
Yes, he did.
I was very impressed. Ngannou got taken down, and when he got taken down, he got up one time. But then, if he would have got taken down more times, I don't know if he would have been able to keep getting up, because he was struggling. He was using a lot of strength to get up, whereas Gane was using a little bit more technique to get up. He was digging the underhood.
Time out. The fifth round? Anyone can say what they want. He performed a beautiful sweep of a big man. He did it beautifully.
He was just strong, John.
Okay, that's in the fifth round when he's that tired. If strength's all you have, that was technique. He did a great job. And this is what I'm saying. Look, this man has improved.
Yeah.
He has become a better mixed martial arts fighter. He's got more game. I'll tell you, the thing that really I thought was the thing that he did not go to enough, that you could see, man, when he kicked Gane, you could see the effect of it. His kicks are hard, and he needs to go to the well more often with that, because he can damage some guys.
Well, when you throw a lot of kicks, though, it makes you more tired. That's one. Two is he's also probably afraid he's going to get his leg caught. If he gets tripped up, he gets taken down, he gets on bottom. I mean, it's a lot of work for those heavyweights to get up off their back, especially if you got somebody else on top of you. And then every time they get taken down, it's just like they have the world on their shoulders every time they're trying to get up, because they're carrying all that damn muscle. I think Francis probably cut to 157 or 160.
Why would he do that?
I don't know, but he's so damn big, John. He is he's got muscles on muscles. I never had muscles, so I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, this is not even fair to look at somebody like that. Anyways, I mean, you had kind of the similar problem that he has. I mean, like when you were younger. I mean, I remember
when I was younger.
Yeah, when you were younger. Well, you walk around like 300 pounds, right?
At one time, yeah.
Jeez, how'd you even wipe your ass? That's what I want to know.
I had no problem with that. You had that one. You told the one about what's his name?
My buddy, man.
Roger.
Yeah.
And
Roger Neff.
Yeah, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's horrible.
He was so damn big, he used to have to put his foot up on the toilet seat and then kind of look back into the mirror and see if he could reach. And he would like wipe, he'd like swipe and wipe as fast as he could, because he had to force it to stretch there. The sad part is conversation. Yeah. The sad part is, man. Yeah, the sad part is, man. I had one of my buddies, because we all used to, a couple of us used to go there and lift, and one of my buddies lived there with them. And he walked in on him doing it, and that's how we all found out. I was laughing my ass off. Oh, I was like, "Oh man, look at it!" Someone, you walk in, surprise, see someone cinnamon roll, just like. All right, let's get back to the fighting. Let's get back to the fighting.
Go back to the old Friends episode. My eyes.
Oh God, I'm blind. I can't see. Well, that was great, man. That's fucking hilarious. I don't know, John. Ciryl fought a good fight. Wasn't quite enough. He could have. I feel like in the fifth round, did you have a 2-2 going into the fifth?
I did.
Okay.
I thought the first was very close.
Yes, that's what
and could have gone either way. And I understand, it's all about the angles that the judge is seeing it. Two of them went with Ciryl, one went with Francis, and it's reasonable both ways. It was a close round.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, to give you my synopsis of the fight, I didn't like the fight. I thought it was horrible. I know that they're too big. I know. I was texting you. I said, this is horrible. I thought Ciryl fought a good fight in terms of his game planning, sticking and moving. It's a lot of movement involved in moving all that weight around the way as much as he moves. He's talented. I know he'll be back. He'll be definitely be better in his next fight. If they fight again, I think there's a good chance he could get the win. He's got to mix it up a little bit more, threaten the takedowns a little more. I think a lot of them he needs to use those leg kicks a little bit more as well. He's the same thing as Francis in terms of using their leg kicks a little bit more. Leg kicks, calf kicks. I don't understand when guys can kick that hard. Kick the calf a little bit more. That would have definitely made an impact on both of them. If Ngannou would have used kicking the calf a little bit more against Gane, there's a good chance he would have slowed the movement down enough for him to get hit. And that's what he should have been looking for. He looked horrible in his boxing, Francis did. He was laboring everything. He was forcing everything. He didn't look technical at all.
He was
loading up, and he was missing everything by a mile. I mean, a lot of things weren't even close. And you can just tell he was so tense trying to hit him. And it was just, there was so much, I think, pressure from all the trash talk, all the video talk, all the corner talk, all of that stuff. So I wasn't impressed with the fight at all. I was like, oh man, as it started to go, I know you're a little biased. The homer in you is coming out because, you used to do a lot of work at Extreme Couture. All these guys, I think they're nice guys.
When I see a heavyweight like Ciryl Gane able to expend the energy that he did, just the movement he has, and he's coming back and doing it again and again, and then having a guy who's on top of him, I give Ciryl Gane a ton of credit for being, man, he was in shape. He was ready to go. He just, couldn't figure out how to stop Francis at a point when he was a little bit labored and tired. He couldn't, get that switch or anything that's going to get him on top. But in Ngannou, if anyone's going to be disappointed, I can understand they're disappointed that he did not get that big knockout that they all expect. But you can't do it every time, especially when you have a guy like Ciryl, who understands distance. He controls the distance very well. He's the guy that's initiating when he comes in. And this is where I know that, Francis was looking at, I've got to counter him, and when he comes in, that's when I'm going to hit him. And he was trying to do it at times because they had obviously seen that, Ciryl, when he's in the fucking southpaw, he dips his head one way. When he goes to orthodox, he dips his head to the opposite side. That's what I was talking about. He's got patterns. But he wasn't able to catch him on him. And so you got to give it to him. Francis was trying in those. Ciryl was able to keep that from happening. I just enjoyed it. I thought they both, there was a lot of pressure on both of them. And it was everything. Not just the championship fight. It was the outside things. The fact that Francis used to, be with, the camp with Ciryl and stuff. He's not there. It was just so much. And, here. Let's talk about the other added pressure. You didn't see Dana White putting the belt on Francis Ngannou, did you? That was Mick Maynard, which only goes to show you the amount of what was on top. Everything was stacked on this thing. It was just, there was a lot of pressure to it. So I appreciate the effort from both guys.
Someone sent me a text saying that Francis said "fuck Dana" at the end.
I don't know.
Is that true? I didn't hear. I didn't see it. I didn't hear. I left. As soon as the fight was over, I left.
No, as far I listened to the entire interviews from both, and both guys classy as hell. Cyryl's was great. I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, I think. Look, I wasn't expecting. I would have loved to have seen Ngannou get the knockout. Of course, I would have loved to have seen that. But I think from what I mean by the fight wasn't good is that both fighters could have had more output. Bottom line, and that really what it came. I said this played. It's a distant second, but it's second to Lewis and Ngannou. That's what it is.
It's not even
second
close.
To that. I think give me another heavyweight. Give me another heavyweight fight of this caliber that you thought was this slow.
When you say caliber, if you go all the way back in time, go back to.
Wait,
Ken
are you
Shamrock
comparing this?
Dan
Are you
Severn.
comparing these two
No,
gifted and blessed athletes
bad fight.
to UFC 1, UFC 2, UFC 3 fighters? Are you really doing that, John? Are you trying to prove a point?
No, I'm going all the way to UFC 9.
Jeez, even worse.
It was a horrible fight, but it happens.
I know it does.
Sometimes you'll get those things, and there was a lot of things why that one happened. But look, the Francis against Derek was horrible.
Yeah,
and it was because they both gave so much respect they didn't throw. This one, like, they were going after each other.
But things like this happen though, John. You want to know why? Because look, you see this all the time. There's fights where there's animosity, there's bad blood between two fighters, and where everyone thinks it can be a knockdown drag out. And guess what? It's never a knockdown drag out because both of them are afraid to lose. In this situation, Gane's corner talked himself into hating each other. It talked both fighters into kind of disagreeing. There was so much going on. And then the Francis thing with the Dana White situation going on as well, that added on to it.
That's pressure.
You could kind of see the pressure from both fighters of Gane didn't want to lose because of his coach, and Francis didn't want to lose because he wanted to give a big fuck you to Dana White. And you ended up in that position where there was a lot at stake for both fighters emotionally and coaching, and another emotionally and contract, and you ended up with what you got. And if I'm Dana White, I'm surprised in the presser. We're gonna probably have to. I didn't see it, but I'm surprised in the presser or this week he doesn't come out and say something like, "You know what? This is why I don't pay him. I don't pay Francis Ngannou because he's had two of the worst heavyweight fights in history." That's what he's gonna say. This is what Dana does. Dana puts the spin on it.
I don't see how you say this is one of the worst heavyweight fights.
It wasn't a good fight, John. It wasn't a good fight.
I enjoyed it. I really did. I'm not saying it was the greatest heavyweight fight. No,
see,
obviously
that's some
not.
Heavyweight bias right there. That's some heavyweight bias.
That's not heavyweight bias. I'm just, there was a lot going on. Look, anytime you have two guys that are very good, sometimes, it's that canceling out of, certain elements of their game. And so I just look at it. It wasn't what we expected, but it was good for me. I actually enjoyed the fight. Let's go to Deiveson Figueiredo.
No. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. No. I think the part that I actually enjoyed was to watch Francis utilize the wrestling that he had learned. Because it was obviously key for him to get the win, but there was a lot of technique involved, and I was surprised to see him use that type of technique in his wrestling. So, but like I said, the labored punching from Francis, and then utilizing the wrestling, knowing that he was probably down 2 rounds, needed those rounds to win. Very impressive job by him. He knew what he had to do to get the W. He was physically stronger, and he actually, after, like you said, Gane was labored, he was able to get the takedowns, control the top position. Good job. Ciryl did a good job of escaping from the bottom several times, even after getting taken down. The bonehead mistake that we didn't talk about yet was sitting back on the ankle lock in the 5th round. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Especially when you're thinking, man, it's slippery right now. And a heel hook is so hard to get when a guy is wet. Man, it's just it's a tough one. He tried it. He put some torque on it. You can see it, but it wasn't. It just wasn't there for him.
Yeah, but even the scramble after he started losing the position, he kept laying back to his back instead of going to the top.
That's the point. You look and you go, use it to come out on top.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and hold on to something that you are not going to get that. So take that position and use it. He just couldn't get his one leg free to get himself to where he felt he could come up on top. He ended up on the bottom.
Damn.
It's all good.
All right, let's talk about the next one. What was it? Go ahead. Take me away.
Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno went completely opposite of the way I thought it was going to go. I thought if we were looking at someone that was going to gas, I thought Figueiredo would be the guy that gassed. He didn't gas, and now I'm not saying Moreno gassed either. He didn't. It was both had great gas tanks, great energy, a whole lot going. That last bit in the 5th round was awesome. But Moreno actually showed that he had big power. Figueiredo had big power, but Moreno hurt Figueiredo several times. Figueiredo hurt Moreno and knocked him on his butt, but Moreno was able to come through him. But I think those knockdowns were the difference in the scoring, difference in the fight, and the fact that he was able to put Moreno on his butt while Moreno was able to hurt him and give him that little wobble. He wasn't really able to put him on his ass in the same fashion, and that happened multiple times in the fight. I thought that Figueiredo fought very smart, and that's where I did not think he was going to do before. I thought he was going to really come out and try to put it on Moreno, and the first round or so would go to him, but I thought that he would come out just trying to take Moreno's head off, and that would work against him. And he didn't. He fought smart, and at times he backed himself off, and I thought that he really showed, that he can be a very competent and intelligent fighter in the cage. He was tough as hell. He took some big shots. I thought Brandon Moreno looked great. It was a very close fight. I agree. I thought Figueiredo won the fight. I had it, 3-2, but it was close. And you're looking, that was a trilogy fight. They got to do 4. These guys are going to hold up the flyweight fucking division from other people getting a title shot for a while.
John, tell me who the number 3 guy is in the flyweight division. Off the top of your head. Don't pull it up, Dave.
Askar.
You don't even know who that guy is. Just making up names now, aren't you? What the fuck? Just making up names.
I think Askar's number would be after them, and then Pantoja.
You have no idea who's after Askar. You have no idea who's after.
I said Pantoja. What the hell is wrong with you?
He's like way down. He's like number 10.
Open up his earphones. Where are we at? Let's see.
I've got it up here.
Oh, look at that, Askar, and then Pantoja. Look at that.
Okay, so Dave, so he knows the next 2. He knows the next 2 guys. Okay, that's it. No one wants to. Just watch these 2 guys continue to fight. This is the 125-pound division. It's been this way since DJ was there. This is it. You're going to see 3 guys, maybe just a revolving door. That's all you're going to get out of this division, John.
I don't think so. Look, I think you're taking a look at those 2 that fought, Deiveson and Brandon. Askar and then Pantoja are both right there. Brandon Royval is right there.
Yeah.
You could take a look at, some of these guys that are in there, and then, Kai Kara France, man, he had a great win against Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah.
There are guys there that, they should, be moving themselves into that position where they would be looked at. But when you have 2 guys like Brandon and Deiveson who put on, fights, this one wasn't, exactly the barn burner that everyone, might have, wanted or were expecting, but it had a ton of technical elements to it. It had a lot of back and forth. And when you have 2 guys that are this close and they're the 2 top guys, it's hard not to go back to them.
Yeah. I'm going to go back into what I said about the Francis fight. I was not impressed with this fight either.
I know you were.
Obviously, it was something I was expecting something obviously different, which, that's in my own mind, and that's my own fault for putting that type of thought process into and believing that it was going to be a different way. But it just wasn't a good fight. And the reason why I'm going to say it wasn't a good fight, it was more of not a good fight on Brandon Moreno's part. He, in the beginning, had clipped Figgy a couple times. He had clipped him, had him rocked a little bit, not super, oh my God, he's on skates, but he had made his leg go stiff for a split second. And he did the whole shaking of the fingers or doing this. He let the excitement and the entertainment of the fight get away from him to the point where he lost the title. Then the other thing as well, that was earlier in the fight. As the fight went on, he was after he had got dropped, he had started landing shots, but didn't want to rush in and stop throwing. He still needed to put the added pressure. When I'm looking at the way that Moreno should have fought, there was moments in there where he had hit him with clean shots and could have put a little bit more pressure and made him fight into a dog fight, which would have made him, I think, more tired. If you listen to Henry Cejudo and Albertson in the corners yelling, and I said this last week, I said, look, he has got a game plan that will get him probably closer to winning this fight because those 2 guys are in his corner. One thing that Eric Albertson doesn't get is the credit for what he develops in terms of game plan. And I'm telling you, that game plan was solid. Now, it ended up being a really close fight. Probably not what they wanted. I think they thought the takedowns probably would have came a little bit easier for Figgy, and it would have been he would have been able to control the top position, whatever it was. Yeah. He wasn't able to get a whole lot of the takedowns. He caught 1, 2, I think 2 it was, later in the fight. But those earlier takedowns weren't really there for him. And so, but, he kept catching the single leg or snatching the single leg, getting to the double, then going to the single. He was, working, hiking it up a little bit, just couldn't get the takedown. But still, he was making Moreno think about it. But overall, Moreno could have done a lot more and started pushing Figgy into a real, a little bit of a dogfight, but getting into those exchanges. In that tight boxing range, the better fighter was Moreno. It was very key right off the bat. Every time he got into that phone booth, he was landing 3 and 4 punch combinations, but then he stood right there in the middle and was able to get punched on the way out, or he stopped throwing and backed out, and then Figgy just didn't throw either, and then Figgy lost the exchange, but it still wasn't enough. He could have backed away and then re-entered, make him readjust, or he could have kept going for something. He lost that fight off of the small little details, John, and we talk about this all the time. When you're at the top, when you're 1-2 or 2-1, whatever it is, champ and 1, okay, it's a fraction of a second of what you're doing or the minor details of the fight that cost you the fight. And that's exactly what it was. His corner should have been saying, hey, after you land, step out or cut an angle and land again. Instead, he backed out and just stepped away from him and let the fight go back to being normal. And Figgy got his breather, he got his rest, he did all those things. I'm going in hard on the pain on both these guys because they're better fighters in this. It was a strategic fight, very game plan style fight from both sides. But Moreno let his title slip away in positions where I know that he's a better fighter. He lost the dog in him a little bit from the last fight to this fight, and actually from the first 2 fights, where he landed some shots and then kept pushing. In this fight, he landed the shots and backed away and said, okay, I'm doing all right. That's what happened after he started getting dropped, or he started getting rocked a little bit and clipped here and there. Because he continued to rock Figgy throughout the rest of the fight. He just didn't continue to follow up. And I think that that's what cost him the fight. Now, I'm not saying he would have knocked him out. I'm not saying he would have finished him. But I'm saying, though, in the judge's eyes, the perception would have been he's trying to get him out of there. He landed some harder shots. Could have gotten some exchanges. Now, I know anything could happen because that's the fight game. He could have hit him and clipped him and knocked him out. But we've seen in the first 2 fights, he can take a shot. We saw in this fight, he can take a shot. He can keep coming. But he's not going to, I don't think Moreno's going to run into this type of problem, John, with somebody that size, that type of power in the rest of the guys that are down there. Pantoja's not as big as Figgy, I don't believe. I mean, he seems long,
pretty big.
He's pretty big, but
he doesn't have Figueiredo's
power. Yeah, he doesn't have Figgy power. And then who else is on there? You were saying,
Asker.
Yeah,
Asker.
He's good. Yeah,
he's really good, man.
He's
Askarov is good. He's
He's gonna have a little bit of an issue with him.
He's gonna have an issue with the style, and the big difference is, I look at this fight, and it was coming off of the second round. I thought Brandon Moreno just put it on Figgy in the second round. Absolutely won that round.
Yeah, and
putting it on him, he should have stepped on the gas more going into third, and he didn't. He kind of laid back out of it, kind of said, I got him going. Things are going my way, and he kind of took the seat of being. I'll be the counter guy. I'll let him try to. When that's the time he should have been stepping on that gas pedal just a little bit more and putting a little bit more pressure, and start breaking his will with, I'm going nowhere, and this is just going to keep being this flow of water that you can't stop. It was that break between the second and third round, as far as the output and action, that just let Deiveson in this fight and allowed him to have a feel for, okay, I saw what you had. Now I'm going to come back with mine. And I thought Deiveson won the third round, and I think he won the fourth round. And that was the difference in the fight.
Well, when you're dealing with someone like Figueiredo, right? They're good when they're bullies. They're the guys when they're the guys that are pushing people around and dictating the pace of the fight. That's when they're high. That's when they're good fighters. That's when they're the best fighters in the world. Moreno could be both. He could be a guy that fights on his back foot and still land great combinations, and he can be a guy that pushes you around and just pieces you up with combinations. He was neither guy last night. Neither guy. He didn't choose to go ahead and fight backing up and be a counter striker, and he didn't choose going forward and dominating Figueiredo, making fight on his back foot and stressing him out. I think in a position when you're fighting someone like Figueiredo, you got to put him, who's used to being the bully, and I say this all the time about Ryan Bader, is when Ryan Bader's put on his back foot, he's not the same fighter.
That's true.
He's just not. It's the way it works. And the same thing I think with Figueiredo. If you put him on his back foot and make him fight going backwards, he's like, shit, what's going on? I'm the bigger guy. I'm the faster guy. I hit hard. I can crack. I can do all these things. He's used to that mindset of being the bully. And Moreno is the guy that doesn't look like he can be the bully, but he can. And there was moments where he was last night, but then he sat back and said, like, almost admired his work, John. That's what cost him. And that to me is what cost him his title.
Second, third round. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the calf kick that Figueiredo was landing, though, it did have It did
had
an effect on him, and you could see that he wasn't able to put that weight the same on that front leg after a certain point, and that made a big difference. And that's smart game planning, and that was the right thing to bring about, because he does put a lot of weight on that front foot. So I thought overall, I enjoyed the fight. I didn't think it was bad. I thought there were elements of Brandon's performance where I thought, you made a mistake here. You're going to go back and you're going to watch this and you're going to go, I should have stepped on it at this point, and I didn't. I backed off. But I think Figueiredo is going to go back and look and go, that was pretty goddamn good. I did pretty good. I took some big shots. I came back. I never, gave in any fashion. So I thought overall, here's the difference of what I'm thinking, and I could be totally wrong. But I think Figueiredo fought the best fight he could fight on that night and came away with the win in a close fight. I don't think Moreno fought his best fight. I think Moreno has a much better fight out there in him and can do things that are going to make his performance much better, and that will be the difference if they meet up and they both give that best performance. That would be the difference in it. But you got to give Figueiredo his due, man. He's the champ.
No, I agree that Moreno could definitely fight a better fight. Absolutely. He can fight a better fight. I think Figgy can also fight a better fight. And what I mean by that is I think he spends a little bit more time with Henry in his wrestling. It's going to change the dynamic of how he takes, if he's able to get takedowns against Moreno. I think Moreno's the better jiu-jitsu guy than Figgy when it comes to like the transition of submission. It's going to be close, but I think he's the better guy. He's the guy that will catch you better off transition. Figueiredo's the guy that once he locks his hands around your head and arm or your neck or whatever, he's going to get you probably. There's a good chance he's going to get you. But he's got his go-to positioning, whereas Moreno, he shows he'll catch you in transition. Rear naked, arm bars, whatever it is, guillotines. He'll catch you in transition because that's the way his style is, that scramble, move. Or I think with Figueiredo, he can fight a better fight by getting more takedowns, slowing Moreno down, controlling the top position, and doing some damage from there, as well as just letting him back up, using his power. He has the ability to make it a way more difficult fight for Moreno. If with the power on the feet, the calf kick, now that we know that this style works perfectly against Moreno. And then now if you add the wrestling aspect of it and the control from the top position, he can fight a better fight as well. So, but are we going to see an automatic rematch? That's the question.
I don't think so. That's three times in a row. I don't think you're going to see it. I think you're going to see Asker get a shot at it. Either him or Pantoja will get a shot at the title, and we'll see what happens from there. But you will definitely see these guys back together.
So Askarov fights Figgy, and then Pantoja fights Moreno?
Moreno, yeah.
That makes sense. I could take that. I can do that.
Well, being the matchmaker,
I don't care. Honestly, I wouldn't care if they fought again an automatic rematch either. I wouldn't care.
No, because actually,
why did Figgy get an automatic rematch? Why did he get an automatic rematch when Moreno doesn't?
I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's not.
Come on, you
your
want to go
bias
with that?
right off the bat. You're showing the bias right off the bat. Showing the bias.
Well, it is.
All right, what's next?
Well, your man Andre Fialho came out and put on a really good performance. He put on a great performance against a guy when you haven't trained for the movement and style that Michel Pereira brings. I thought that, Andre came out, really fought hard, fought well. I thought Pereira fought well. I thought he definitely, and I love the fact his corner says we lost that first round. Yes, you did. No doubt about it. He was putting it on you. But, man, the second round he came out, and it was all the difference of who's on their back foot. When Pereira was on his back foot, it was a closer fight. When Fialho was on his back foot, Pereira was dominating the fight. And so, but a lot of it is Andre did not have a camp to be able to prepare for Michel, and I think that has a lot to do with it. He didn't have the conditioning exactly, that he would want to have, spot on. He was in good shape, but he could have done better with his conditioning, and that's just time. But I thought he came out, and if you're talking about having a performance in your first UFC fight and all the pressure of being on the main card and everything, he did great. He's going to be back. I think he got himself a home.
Yeah, so I'm happy. I'm extremely happy for him that he did have a great performance in terms of taking on short notice. The part that I'm going to be upset about, and I am a homer. He is my boy, but I'm more mad at. Not mad, I should say. It's frustration. I saw what happened on the feet, right? He's got the boxing, and I think I was listening to somebody talk about it in the commentary as well, was that if you're only a boxer, utilize your kicks, okay? And here's the thing. He was able to get a takedown at the end of the first. The ground and pound, you could see Pereira had no answer off of his back for what Andre was doing, and I've said this last week. Fialho's got really good ground and pound. He's heavy on top. He's got heavy hips. I think he's like a jiu-jitsu purple belt. He's not that great of a jiu-jitsu guy. He's not going to try to submit you. Maybe here and there. He's got a decent guillotine if he catches you in transition. but he's got some power in his hands, and we saw that in the first round.
Yep.
He hit him with a couple shots, and that rocked Pereira, and then it also cut him a little bit on his bridge of his nose, I think a little bit under his eye. He's got power. But when he gets on top, his ground and pound is nasty, and you saw that at the end of the first. If I'm his coach, and if I'm him as well, Fialho, if I'm thinking to myself, get a takedown. You know Pereira's getting a little bit tired. Get a takedown, control the top position, slow the fight down, get him from moving around. He's got an explosive double leg. I've seen him do it. I've seen him take DC down. I've seen him take Luke Rockhold down several times. I've seen it. He's never wrestled a damn day in his life. He's from Portugal. Doesn't even have wrestling.
But I want you to think about this. What's the one thing that everyone will say? What wears you out faster than anything?
Yeah, it does.
Wrestling.
It is true. Yeah, it does.
And so if that's in the back of your head, it's like, I don't want to get tired.
Yeah, but just
that's part of no camp. That's part of what happens when you take a fight short notice. It just happens.
I understand, but John,
got to adjust.
You should have. When I watched the end of that first round, I'm like, man, Pereira has no answer for him on top. If he gets on top of him again, I'm like, if I'm his coach, if I'm Henry Hoof, I'm thinking to myself, you need to get the takedown. Just control the top position. Let's slow this fight down. Let's make him work to get off the bottom. Make him carry your weight, because Pereira was slowing down as well. But then in that second round, he was able to land some clean shots, and he's like, all of a sudden, lit a fire under his ass. His confidence grew a little more. He's like, I can do more.
The body work that Pereira was able to.
Push kick was nasty.
Push kick was nasty. Hit him with some beautiful knees inside to the body. He attacked that body well, and he took a lot of gas out of him.
Yeah, I know. But John, like it was a good fight. It was one of the better fights on the card. I thought Andre fought great, and I was actually surprised because look, Andre's been in some wars in the gym, so a lot of stuff, I've seen him take some heavy shots in the gym, and so I get a little concerned when you see guys that spar that hard and train that hard. How long will their chin last? So I was like, Pereira's a big guy. When I saw them stand face to face in the cage, I was like, geez, I feel like he's an 85 pounder for sure. He's an 85 pounder, and so but then they're fighting at that weight. I'm like, man, Andre looks so small. He just looks small next to him, but he's got the power. He's got the explosiveness. Overall, it was a good fight. I enjoyed the fight. I wanted Andre to get the win. That's all.
Yeah.
I wanted him to win. You got to fight a little bit smarter, have a little bit more of a fight IQ in knowing where you could have got the takedown and could have got the win.
But again, no time. Last minute.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah. I know. I ride my, but people don't realize I ride my friends a little bit harder than I ride people
you
that
are.
I don't
You're
know.
brutal. Dude, you're brutal at times. I'm the one always going, what are you talking about, man? You think you were talking about Islam Makhachev against frickin', who was it? Oh, God, I can't. Cody, I think. I can't remember.
No.
But he ends up tapping him with shoulder pressure. You go, oh, that was horrible. I'm going, it was fantastic.
No, I know.
He dominated, but it's all right. All right, everyone. We are 23 days into 2022, but it is not too late for you to have a good New Year's resolution. And when we're looking at good New Year's resolutions, we're talking about getting rid of bad habits like smoking and bringing Fume into your life. The Fume product is an outstanding way for you to stop smoking, stop vaping, and become a healthier person in 2022. This is a natural way. It helps with that hand-to-mouth feeling that you'll get with smoking, but you don't get the bad effects. You can do it anywhere at any time. You can do it on a bus, on a train, on a plane, in your car, and it won't affect anybody else at all. It is just the use of essential oils. The cord that you see in the middle of that right there, you take this beautiful little flavoring that you'll get. There's all kinds of flavoring. There's cozy chai, peppermint, black pepper, but there's also cinnamon. The one I've got in here right now, a holiday flavor of candy cane. It's outstanding. I love it. This is your way to either make yourself or someone you love a healthier person in 2022. Use the Fume product and become a person that is a happier and more healthy person coming into 2023, which is a long ways away. So you've got time to do this. Right now, there is a special promo going with Fume. You can get 20% off of the holiday packages if you go to Fume. Now, Fume is F-U-M. Don't put the E on the end. So you're going to go to breathefum.com/weighing in, and you're going to use the weighing in promo code. If you go to Fume, you will find something that you love. You'll love the way that they do their prominence. This is the prominent. It is a fantastically well-crafted piece of wood. Everything that they do is first class. Go to Fume right now. Become a healthier person in 2022 and make it happen now.
Because
Talking about
all the people that
hold on.
all the okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All the people that I feel like I've become really close with throughout all my training are the people that told me the truth. The people that told me like, hey, you're a better fighter than that. John Fitch used to ride my ass. Trevor Pranglin, same thing. But John Fitch, he's like, what the hell are you doing? You're a way better fighter than what you're showing. Do this. Be more active. Push the pace more. These people can't keep up with you. He used to ride me so hard. Be like, you could be this. You could cost check. Same shit. You know what I mean? Like those are the people that I look back and I'm like, man, they really just care.
I ride you all the time. You don't listen to a word I say.
Yeah, because it's like old man talk. You know, like you got the blabbering old man just kind of like mumbling on.
It's the blabbering. All right, Saeed Nurmagomedov against Cody Stamann. Look, just fucking money. Man, that, people don't realize when someone puts on, everyone goes, it's a guillotine choke. It's not a guillotine choke. When you get that arm all the way over and you see this thing lock on top of it in that front naked choke position, it is almost impossible to get yourself out of that thing. It is a bitch. I'm surprised he didn't
just pop his head out. He should have just popped his head out. Right? Exactly. I was actually watching some fights with some people that Trevor knew, and one of them goes, "It looks like he could just pull his head out." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." I just left it alone. You don't want to engage in conversation, right?
But it was a beautiful submission win, Nurmagomedov against a very tough dude in Cody Stamann. So that was a great performance. You talk about, one of the best actual performances. I loved that one, and then I know that they had the young kid, Michael Morales, came in, did a nice job against Trevin Giles, but I thought that the Victor Henry versus Hani Barcelos, holy shit.
Best fight of the night. Hands down fight of the night.
God, love that thing. Thank you very much. I'm glad
50 G's, baby, 50 G's. I was like, it had to have been.
Dude, he was just on point. Man, he looks so good, and you're talking about taking a guy in Barcelos is so good, people, national wrestler in Brazil, fucking black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got great stand up. This guy is good everywhere, and Henry, I've known Henry from California and stuff. Henry just put him on. He put it on a clinic on counter striking, on setting guys up, on being the leader in the fight. He just looked great. He took some shots at times because Barcelos is tough as hell, but man, he looked good in that fight. He just was all over him.
Where's he from, John? I know it was his debut. I know it was his debut. He's from Orange County, but where did he come? Did he come from LFA? Where did he come from?
Well, he used to be with Paulson at, I want to say CFC. Is it CFC? No, what is it?
CFFC, I think it's CFFSC.
No, whatever Paulson's school was. And now he's with, Josh Barnett. He's just working out all over in Orange County, I've been told. But, man, look, that was a performance, dude.
Yeah, it was a great performance.
Good. So, for him, that's his first. I know that I know Josh had got him some fights in Japan, and he had been going back and forth with a couple of different. I know he was with he did Ryzen. And I'm trying to think of what other show, but he's done well there. But he had I want to say he fought his last fight. I think was against Albert Morales, who fought, in Bellator against Patchy Mix, and that was a tough fight for Patchy Mix, and he got a win against him with a rear naked choke. But he's just stand up wise, he's fun to watch. He was putting on a clinic. So,
what he was he was the more relaxed fighter.
Yeah,
and when he got up,
which is amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, because like he said, I think he said in his post fight interview, he said like I was waiting for the nerves to kick in, like to happen, and it never did. He's like I was just out here, and when you're feeling the flow, you're feeling the flow. There's moments where you come into the gym,
working.
And everything is on. It's just on fire. You're just like wow, this is you can't miss. It's like he was calling his shots. Everything he was doing, his combinations were on point. He got clipped with some big shots, I think, early in the third round. Probably a minute and a half in. But then his opponent got tired. And he started getting tired about 2.5 minutes into that third round. And he was able to just start picking him apart as the fight went on. But he looked good from the beginning of the fight to the end of the fight. The fluidity is more what caught his opponent off guard.
Yeah.
He was just moving. Punches were coming from different angles. Punches were coming from different movements. He made it look easy last night. And I got to tell you, I'm surprised that he hasn't been signed earlier. He was impressive. He did everything right. The fight was a back and forth fight, but he was dominating almost all the exchanges. What I mean by back and forth was his opponent started to gain a little bit of advantage. He took it away from him. He came back and he started leading the fight, and then his opponent started try to take it away from him. Wasn't able to do it, but he understood. He understood when the fight was slipping away, or not slipping away, when it could start, the momentum could start changing, and he captured it back. And what I loved about him at the end was at the very end when he was doing his post-fight interview, Joe talked to him and he said, what did he say? He goes, I'm 34 years old. He's like, I know I've got probably 1 or 2 runs left in me. He's like, I understand where my position is right now. He's like, I ain't got time to fuck around pretty much. Let's get this going. You can't be mad at that. This is his opportunity. This is exchange. This he knows what position he's in. These are the fighters that are most dangerous. They're not here to fuck around. They're not here to clout chase. They're legit here to be fighters. And it took him this long to get here. He doesn't seem like someone who's going to let the opportunity slip away. Great job, great performance. Tip my hat to him. Hands down, best fight of the night. Hands down.
The other one, if you want to get a big difference in it, and I know a lot of people were talking about Mandalena and how good he looked, the kid from Australia coming in. But look, the level of opponent, completely different. Nothing against P. Rodriguez, but he was in over his head walking into that cage as far as just the pressure of being there and everything, and you could see it. So Mandalena looked good, but not with a guy like, Victor Henry and who he fought in Barcelos. Big difference in competition, and that's why I say that was the performance of the night by far.
John, so let me ask people this. I saw a lot of people tweeting and texting, and they were texting me saying, man, I'm not paying this amount of money for this fight. And then especially after people had sent me a link to something that said there was 11 people making their debut last night.
Was it 11?
11 fight. Okay, maybe it dropped down. Maybe it dropped down. They lose
we lost
the
one
COVID.
fight that we really wanted to see. We wanted to see Jourdain against Topuria, but that didn't happen.
Damn, that was going to be I think that would have been fight of the night for sure. But look, Henry delivered, man.
Oh, yeah.
Henry delivered. I was actually, when I was watching the Henry fight, I'm like, did I miss the Jourdain fight? Where the hell is the Jourdain fight? I was like, man, what happened? I text you. I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I was like, maybe they bumped it to the main card. Like maybe they put it up higher up because they figured it'd be a good fight. No, and I text you and you're like, no, I got pushed or something happened. Yeah, I dropped off. That sucks. But look, for 11, for let's just say 8 people making their debut. Are you really paying $74 or $75 for people to make their debut?
Yes, I did.
That's the thing. John. But if you're the casual fan at home, or if you're just a fan that's even if you're a hardcore, and you're like, yeah, I want to see the main event, yeah, I want to see the co-main, it's gonna be a good fight, and then you buy that I'm sorry, but that card last night was not worth. Well, it wasn't worth $75.
It could be that there are people that are disappointed with it, and so they won't buy the next one. But you got to go with. Do you want to miss that when you don't know what's going to happen? And is it worth the money too? Yeah, it's worth the money too.
Well, isn't like hindsight 50-50 or 20-20 or
hindsight's 20-20.
There you go, whatever.
50-50 is some weird ass hindsight, but
see, for me, right, I would just obviously I look back now and I'm like, damn, I'm glad I didn't buy it. So. All
right, we had Matt. Tony Gravely looked good against Oliveira. That was a good fight, tough fight, but Matt Frivola against Valdez. Gennaro Valdez, you're talking about the crazy Irishman versus the crazy Mexican. My God, what a fight. Jesus. Frivola hit him with shots, and Valdez would not stop coming. He would not quit. He would get back up. I mean, it was just guns blazing, step on the gas. One of us is going down. It is in the first round. I don't know how long it went. Probably went 3 minutes, but it could have maybe even been shorter than that. But I don't. Did you see that fight, or you didn't see that?
No, I did. I didn't see it.
Holy shit. Matt Frivola, that was fun. Thank you very much. And same Mr. Valdez. God damn, you're a tough son of a bitch.
Are we getting 50
Great
G's
fight.
out of this fight? Are we getting 50
They
G's?
should have, man. They should have, because they fucking put it on. They were both going for it. That you talk about, you remember, when you were fighting and you were fighting in the UFC, Dana would come in the back and he says, put it all on the line, and he would talk to the guys, and the people are paying to watch. Well, if he's still giving that talk, they listen, because man, they both put it on the line. They just went at it. They from 5 seconds into the start of the fight, they were both stepping on the gas, man. I mean, hard.
That's the thing. When you guys, when young talent, young fighters, they come in, they need to absorb what that moment when Dana's telling people, this is what you've been waiting for. There's nowhere else to go but here. You know what I mean? Like when he's talking to you in the back, he's saying, where are you going to go? You can only become champion here, and this is it. You have nothing. Let it all out there. This is all those times when you were trying to hold it back or you were afraid to lose in a lower promotion. Well, now you're here. You're going to lose here, you're going to win here, but you got to let it all hang out. And so if you're saying the fight was the way it was, then hey, one of them lived up to it. Good stuff.
They did. Last one I'll talk about, Vanessa Diamapoli. I'm sorry for screwing up your name there. Her fight against Gomez was, she came out, she got blitzed with a right hand that put her, she was out going down. Hits the ground, wakes up, takes a couple more shots. Frank Trigg is the referee. He lets it go, and she ends up grabbing the arm, does all the right things, scoops the leg, brings her over, gets the armbar victory, and then jumps in Joe Rogan's arms. Joe Rogan's doing an interview carrying a female fighter, and I go, that's fantastic.
I thought it was great.
It was great.
Those are the moments you're in the winner's circle. You get to do whatever the hell you want. Live it up, man. I thought it was great. I thought it was great awesome on Joe's part for picking her up. She put the leg up and Joe went and lifted. He's got the mic. He's doing the interview. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Sean Brady just posted a video, a GIF of me when I picked up Joe Silva and swung him around. Yeah, for Nate. And it was one of those things, you're in the moment. I think it was awesome, man. I think good on Joe Rogan for doing that as well. He could have been it was great. He could have been I'm not picking you up, chick.
Good on Vanessa, man. She had fun. Yeah. She got a great win, and then she had her moment because she was she's Joe Rogan. Yeah, all excited. That was great.
What'd you say, Dave?
I said she also got 50 G's.
Oh,
50 G's, baby, 50 G's. What the younger fighters need to remember is that things like that, they go a long way with with Dana and the promotion. When you do things like that, it shows a little bit of character. It makes it easier for fans to want to like you. Which means, you have a personality. Oh, you know what? Fans are going to start to flock to you and follow you. And guess what? That's what we want. Let's give you the money to keep being who you are. And so when that situation happened, it wasn't. There was some decent fights last night. The Henry fight to me was hands down. I didn't see the one that you said that came out for 3 minutes and they threw down.
Oh, Frivola.
So yeah, awesome. But good stuff, man. Dave, what are we done with the card? Because I don't have a screen here. I can't see.
We're good. We don't have to go anywhere. There's only one more to talk about, really. So done.
All right, talk. Let's see. What do you got for us there, podcast, Dave?
So let's get your reaction to these fighter purses. So these are the minimum earnings. I know that Moreno and Figueiredo get fight of the night, so that was 50 grand obviously. But they earned a minimum of 200,000 to Moreno and 150 to Figueiredo, and then Gane and Ngannou got 500 and 600 respectively.
Look, they're all going to make a lot more money than that. Let's just be honest, okay?
They are.
That is, as you said, minimum. Yeah, they all have. Well, Francis and Ciryl both have pay-per-view points. Do they not? They're both champs.
I don't know if the interims get them. Do they?
Yep, he gets it.
Okay.
So both of them are going to get pay-per-view points. Brandon Moreno is going to get pay-per-view points. I don't know about Deiveson based upon where he's coming in as ex-champion. Maybe not, but there's a lot of extra money there that's not being shown on that. So, this is one of that's when Francis comes out and says, "I'm not fighting for $500,000 or $600,000 anymore." When you're the champ, you don't have to worry about fighting for $500,000 or $600,000. You get a lot more. You know you're getting that pay-per-view, so just keep winning, and you'll be making a whole lot more money. But I understand he wants that base pay of something more, but those numbers, I hate when they put them out. First off, in reality, it's no one's business what someone makes.
It's so weird they do that, man.
It's just
Drives
weird.
me crazy.
And when the commission, because the commission only gets the bout contract, they don't get the fighter's contract. So they don't know all the back end stuff that is there and what's in the contract and what the fighter is getting paid. All they know is, here's the check for this fight. I look at the contract. The contract says they're going to fight for this, and here is that check, and I'm handing it to them. So they put it on the thing, but that doesn't mean that's all the fighter's getting.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't know you could do that until Strike Forces started, and my first contract we didn't do it, but then when I got into my second contract, and I made a lot more money, and they started asking me, "What do you want to show?" Because like it's open to the public. You're still going to pay tax on the whole thing,
sure,
but but the commission post, you don't get away with that part. But you're still going to pay tax on the whole thing. But then the commission releases to the public for the media. So I always used to put, a fraction of what I made, down there. And, and
you
then
get all these people going, "Man, I can't believe he only fights for that." Or, "I know what he fights for." No, you don't.
No, you don't. You don't know. No. Yeah. So there was that. And then also when I went back to the UFC still doesn't they still kept it to where they showed all my money, what I was making. Not all my money, but they showed a percentage of a pretty good percentage of what I was making. Mm-hmm. And so, but then when I went to Bellator, then it went back down to like I showed nobody anything. I prefer not to. I don't want people thinking that you make all this money because then but then it also affects. Well, the reality of it was this: is I had actually people sending like links to people that I was related to, and then my family was like started realizing that it was public record; they could see what I made. I thought it was weird. I'm like, this is so weird. And then like Thanksgivings and Christmas became like how much I saw you made this much money at the, I was like, this is not why I don't want to be
totally wrong.
I don't want to be at family functions talking about what I made. And like, it got annoying. So I just always try to keep it separate. Yeah. Anyways, look, overall though, Francis, you are right. Francis will eventually probably start to make more in terms of he's on his last fight of his original contract, right? Or the last one
that was his last fight. That
was his last fight. So we'll extend
now what's
going to
happen there? What's going to happen? What's that?
I don't. Well, does it extend it one fight?
It extends it 1 fight or 1 year. Well, it actually, his will extend 1 fight or 1 year. So,
but doesn't it always extend it 1 fight? Doesn't it always just continue to extend it 1 fight? That's what I've heard.
No, it's 1 fight. So if he takes a fight and he fights again and wins, it'll extend it another fight. But it's only a year. So if he goes the full year without fighting, he can become a free agent. And he can
but if they offer him a fight and he turns it down, then it extends it for 4 to 6 months.
No, it's only a year because it's off of his original contract. So he could get out if he sat on his ass for a year. I don't think he should do that. No. I think that would be a mistake. I think that he and the UFC need to sit down, talk, come to an agreement. I think the UFC has someone that they can really get behind. Like, think about this, Josh. Before, when Francis was coming up, the UFC pushed him big. Mm-hmm. If you recall the marketing that went behind when he was going to fight Stipe the first time, everything was about Francis and Francis knocking everybody out and the power, and you can't stop this guy. He hits harder than any human being. Look at this meter thing that we have, all that bullshit. And they were all behind him. And Stipe used the same fucking tactic that Francis just used. He used wrestling. He took him off his feet, took him out of his game, and got the win. And then all of a sudden, Francis wasn't quite that guy. Then he had the bad fight with Derek Lewis. And that's when they kind of went, Ugh. And then he's come back and he's had these great knockouts that they want to see. They're just, in that position now where there's been friction. They just need to mend those fences. Don't burn the bridge. Just figure out what it's going to take to make, both of you happy. The boxing thing, there's one thing that I hope Francis can be shown in this fight that he just had with Ciryl Gane, who's a good stand-up fighter. dude, you will get murked by Tyson Fury. Okay? You and I have a bet on that, and I hope that bet never comes about.
Yeah, after I watched last night, I hope
he will get fucking destroyed in a boxing match. Now, if you took and put Tyson Fury into the cage, I'm going to go with Francis Ngannou, okay? Because he's going to take Tyson off his feet, and he's going to beat him up there. But in a boxing match, come on. Get rid of the boxing stuff. Let that shit go to the side. And you're a great MMA fighter. You're a great champion now. Just go and fix it. Get behind, your promoter. Let them get behind you and have a great career.
John, let me ask. Somebody posted this the other day on Twitter, and it made a lot of sense. If he leaves the UFC, no one's going to bat an eye. It's not going to affect the UFC at all.
No,
it's not going to affect their money. It's not going to affect their promotion. It's not going to affect their heavyweight division. It won't affect anything. The promotion and the heavyweight division won't even skip a beat. He'll just fade off into the sunset wherever. He'll be gone. And they'll maybe they'll bring him back, maybe they won't, but if he wanted to come back. But the bottom line is the UFC, the promotion of the division will not suffer at all if he leaves. And I agree with you. He needs to sit down with them and really hash it out and be like, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we want. And I hope that damn boxing match never does happen because I don't want to lose that money. So,
well, as simple as it gets, and this is where, people don't remember this, but Andrei Arlovsky, same thing. Okay, he was the UFC champion. He ends up losing it. He's still with the UFC, and he's talking about boxing. He's going down to, Hollywood and working out with Freddie Roach at the Wild Card, and he's talking about being a boxer and wanting to have boxing matches and things like that. And look, the UFC tried hard to re-sign him, and he got mad, and they kind of benched him for a while, and he just, he wrote it out, and then he ended up getting to become a free agent, and he went and he fought Fedor in Affliction.
Yeah.
Okay? Made a lot of money, but he got knocked out there. But it was that whole boxing thing again, and the UFC has had these situations, and you can see where Andre is now. Andre's back with the UFC. Now he had a lot of fights that he went and he fought for Strikeforce. He went and fought for Affliction, like I said. Fought with the World Series of Fighting. He lost to Rumble Johnson in the very first or second World Series of Fighting. But he's the guy. If you're, Francis, go talk to Andre. Just go talk to him because it's just not. It's not what you're thinking. I'm not saying if you want to say I want to get that giant payday and you think that's going to happen fighting Tyson Fury, all right. But the UFC as a promotion, they're not going to want it because their guy's going to lose. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And so they know that going in there. Dana's not stupid when it comes to boxing. And so the only thing that makes it okay for them is they get a lot of money. That's just being honest. That's the only thing that'll make them go, okay, we'll let you do it because they're going to get a lot of money. That's what they did with Conor.
But if he leaves, like if his contract expires and he leaves and he does it without them, then he can do it himself.
Well, that's different. Yeah, he can do it himself, but he's going to have to sit.
Yeah.
He's 35 years old right now.
Yeah.
He's right in the prime of his fighting life. Okay? And heavyweights can go a little bit, they can go longer based upon, just the level of people and everything that's there. But you figure, okay, he's got 6-7 years left. You're going to sit one of those out?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Well, I also look at it in there because you're complaining about money, but you got to make more money. You got to fight. You don't make money unless you're fighting. You make a little bit of money if you're not fighting, but if you're the champ, but you're not going to make it what you could be making. I mean, I look at this, but he also apparently tore his ACL or he hurt his knee leading up to this fight. So is he going to get surgery? Is he going to be out for a year?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, Dave, what else?
So last thing I think on this fight is Jon Jones tweets out in response to the win last night and says, "If this is the apex of heavyweight fighting, I'm excited about it. Got some more records to break. I love how everyone gets so impressed with the new guy. LOL." And then he says, "LOL, shit, I may just retire. I may just enjoy retirement." And then he says, "At the end of the day, I'm fucking them both up." Quite a lot in his mind, obviously.
John, it's not even fucking close.
It's not. And this is where
not even close.
This is when I'm gonna bash on you. This is when your man DC said that shit about Jon Jones will never be bullshit. He's just way better than both of these guys. John would have taken Ciryl down and beat him to death on the ground.
Beat him to death. He would have fucking subbed him in like 2 seconds.
It's not close. Jon Jones, close. As far as fight IQ and just the ability, I'm just saying, man. Look, I'm not saying Francis could knock him out. He could hit him with a shot. Ciryl could knock him out. Anyone could get knocked out. But if you're looking at these guys fighting, they fight 10 times. Jon Jones definitely going to win 9 of them.
No, he's going to win 11 of them.
Okay, there you go.
Out of the 10. I'm sorry, man.
I'm just going off of, okay, I'll give 1 to him, but no.
I guess maybe we're just jumping the gun a little bit because last night's performance by both of these fighters was not a great performance. And so
but this is when you're looking at the level of competition, too. And when they fight Jon, that's a step up in level.
John, this is all because your hindsight is 50-50, okay? That's all it is. That's why. You see it now. You see it now because you just watched them fight last night. It wasn't a great performance by both guys. And so, we're looking at what we remember what Jon is capable of. And we're just saying, no, I'm on your side completely. Outside of just getting clipped by, say, Francis. But I don't think Ciryl has the power to knock Jon out.
He doesn't have the game to
stop him. He doesn't have the game to stop him on the feet. Doesn't have the game to stop him on the ground. Doesn't have the wrestling to stop his takedowns. And we had called it already that Ciryl is not a good wrestler, and we saw that he got taken down and dominated from the top position. Francis Ngannou was mounting him. He was putting him in a mount. He was taking his back. He was seatbelting him. He was controlling the position. I mean, John's going to have maybe a little bit harder time with Ngannou, but not much. Yeah. One takedown, and Jon on top of him. I mean, if Ngannou hits his back and he's ended up being with his back flat on the ground, Jon going to unleash those elbows, and you're going to see, holy shit. And I just want to know, Francis, you can tell, is just physically strong, super strong.
No doubt.
How will Jon deal with that? But we've already seen last night that if he loads up a lot, he misses a lot. We've seen him connect, and we've seen people get decapitated over him and other guys. But he also swings. If you go back and watch those fights, his punches are coming from weird angles, and he's swinging recklessly in those combinations. It's not like it's coming from his face like boom, boom, boom in tight technique. Jon Jones is going to throw that that thigh kick to the front of Francis's knee. It's going to keep him at bay that way. Use his reach. And then when he gets in too close and overextends, he's going to take him down. And from then on, I don't think either one of these guys gets up off the bottom from Jon. You go back and watch the second fight with Gus Gustafsson, and Jon gets on top of him, and it's fucking murderer's row. And the one thing that Gus was really good at was getting up. He was good at getting up. He was good at stuff and takedown. He was good at getting back to his feet because that's where he did a lot of his work. Neither one of these guys is like that. Neither one of them. And so, Jon Jones is going to be the champion. But if he's retired, I mean, why are we even having this conversation? If you listen to Dana White, this guy's retired. Why are we even having this conversation? This is ridiculous. And he's been out for however many years. He's been out longer than Henry Cejudo, but he's retired.
Exactly.
Why are we having this conversation? Anyways, you guys know I'm
because he's training with Henry Cejudo. Come on, man. Fight Ready with Henry Cejudo could have 2 UFC champions.
John, I'm going to say this, though. Do you think last night when Dana's watching Figueiredo fight that style where he's got the wide stance, it was kind of a slower paced fight, that he's like, fuck, he's training with Henry. This is why I don't want to sign Henry or fucking Fig. And this is the style that he fights. I don't want this in my fucking, he's fucking probably pulling the rest of his nubbins out, his little hair out. He's probably like, shit. Oh man, it's got to be driving Dana crazy. And then if Jon comes out and fights like that,
his forehead so much it's all shiny.
I would love to see Jon Jones come out and fight that style where he's real wide stance. I'd just be like, yeah, I'm gonna fight like Henry. Fucking everything's gonna be about Henry. I fucking love it. I love it. Anyways, it's just gonna piss. It's gonna piss Dana off, man, even more. Oh, it's great. All right, what else you got for us?
All right. Let's talk about some fight announcements. So the big one first is Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prodchazka, set for UFC 274, which I imagine is
Did you say jury? Did you say Jiri?
Josh, I don't.
Yuri.
It's not.
It's Jiri. Jiri Prodchazka.
It's not my place to know how to pronounce the name.
I thought you did pretty good with the Prodchazka there. You did good.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank
job,
you.
Dave.
Don't encourage this kind of behavior, John.
That's May 7th. I think that's an interesting fight. Look, Yuri he's unique and he's odd. He throws things from weird angles and stuff, but he is going to be in a position where if Glover takes him down, he's going to be fighting someone that is going to quickly take a lot of gas out of his tank, make him tired, and he's got a great gas tank. So I'm not putting it down at all. But he's got to keep this fight on the feet for as long as he can. Make it rough on Glover. He's got more speed, more length. I think he's even got more, I don't want to say power, but it's close. It's tied. He has his advantages in this fight, but he's definitely got his disadvantages. And if Glover does like what he did against Jan and gets that takedown and gets on top, it's gonna be a long round for Yuri, and he's gonna have to survive that round to come back and hopefully not get taken down again, because Glover's been fighting very intelligently lately. Since he's gotten up in age, he's doing things as far as his training smarter. The way he's fighting is smarter. He kind of lost it a little bit with Thiago Santos when he started banging with him in the thing. I'm saying, take it down, but he's been doing great. So this is a great fight. It's the old versus the new. We're going to see if the intelligence of Glover and what he does can take the sparkle off of Yuri, who's a great fighter. I'm not putting him down in any ways. I love him. I've been watching him since I reffed him back in Japan, and he's a special guy. He's going to be fun to watch for a while.
All the things you said, ditto. No, it really just comes down to Glover's got tight boxing, but he's slowed down. Okay, he doesn't have the speed. I would say power might be mutual, but the explosiveness to get there, I'd give it to Yuri. Yuri's longer. Okay, but when this fight hits the ground, which I think it will hit the ground, Yuri leaves himself out of position and he overextends on a lot of things. If he can't stop a takedown, you can see exactly what you saw against Blachowicz, where once he gets on top, it could change the dynamic of this fight. If you go back and you watch, remember the Nemkov fight with Yuri. I know this was a long time ago, you guys. Okay, but Nemkov on top was doing some work. Okay, he's good. He's good in the top position. It makes people tired, whatever it is. But Yuri off of his back is not a barn burner, and so Glover Teixeira is phenomenal on top. He's probably the best guy, I think, in the whole weight class across all promotions.
No doubt about it.
In terms of like on top.
Pressure.
Heavy hips, submission chasing, ground and pound, making you work. He's good in that top position and control. And he's slow on the takedown, but when he does get it and he gets to that top, I don't know a lot of guys are going to be able to stop what he does from the top position. Like you said, he's training smarter. He's not training harder. He's getting better in terms of his fight IQ. And he is just, and to think I feel like he's coming into his prime at 40 something years old, at 40, 41 years old. He's just fighting a smarter fight. It's brilliant on his part. I wish him the very best. Glover is one of those guys, when you see him, you always say hi to him because he's always got a smile. He's always a nice guy.
He's always saying hi to you.
Yeah, he's such a great person, man. And I think that's why so many people were happy for him to win the title. And then the way he did it was great. It was phenomenal.
Kidding? I was thrilled.
You know what I mean?
One of the nicest guys there is in the sport.
Yeah, and he's genuine about it. It's not the fake shit. Like, he's real. And so I love that about him. And but Yuri's got his hands full, man. If this fight hits the ground, I'm gonna go all with Glover. And with Yuri, he's got to stick and move. He's got to stay on the outside. Don't let his back hit the fence either. And I think he's got a good chance. The speed and the reach will be a little bit of a problem for Glover.
Yeah,
but overall, John,
the speed's
overall, stylistically, it makes for a very fun fight.
It does.
Makes for a very fun.
It's interesting.
But
if it stays on the feet, Yuri's going to win the fight.
I'm going to go to Michael Bisping though. You know, Michael Bisping and him winning the title from Rockhold and then coming out and then fighting and defending it. Not a lot of people thought he'd get past Henderson. Not a lot of people thought he'd get past other guys, and he did. You know, I think I don't know. Are we overlooking Glover? I mean, in this situation, because he's looked so good. He's had great performances since he's been in the UFC. Are we overlooking him? I mean,
I'm not overlooking anything he can do.
Yeah,
I love what he can do, and I love what he's doing right now as far as how smart he's being and stuff. But if you're looking at this, you know, in this systematic fashion, he has his advantages.
Yeah.
But he has to get the fight there because the fight starts with the advantages of his opponent.
Yeah.
It starts on the feet. His opponent's got better range, is very difficult to get into because of his length. He controls distance very well. He's in and out. He angles off. He takes strange angles at times, ones that you go, what? But he makes it work for him. One of the things that I'll give Glover, I thought was smart, is one of the first people that Glover contacted about helping him with this camp, Mo Lawal. Called up King Mo, a guy that beat Jiri, a guy that has been in the cage with him multiple times, the ring, and has been in there with him multiple times, and said, hey, can I have your help with this? And, you know, Mo, absolutely. And so that was a smart move because here's a guy that's been in there and can give him some ideas about what, you know, he's going to see, what he's going to feel. So, you know.
Yeah, Mo is probably one of the most underrated coaches in the business right now. You know, he's out of the American Top Team. He's probably he is a nerd and a geek when it comes to this stuff. He watches film.
Nerd.
He's a podcast Dave type nerd also with the WWE stuff, but he's also a nerd when it comes to the MMA game. I remember when he came to train with me, train at AKA, and he's talking to me about Josh, you were the first guy in the UFC to do the Superman punch. You were the first guy to do this. I remember watching your fight in the WFA. I remember this. And I'm like, God, I haven't even seen my fight in the WFA. Like, where'd you get the video? I was like, I don't even know where to find it. This guy is a nerd when it comes to that, but he understands the sport. He knows what you're good at. He's another one of those guys when I talked about earlier that would tell you what like it was. You know, you could have won that fight a little easier, or you could have won that fight by doing this, or you should be doing more of this because you're really good in this. People can't stop you when you do this. You want those kind of people around you that tell you the truth, not the hype man. And he's one of those guys that just tells you like, hey, you're very good in this department. Your jab is this, or your inside kick is this, your push kick is this. Those are the kind of people that you want around you. And he's phenomenal. And he's one of the most underappreciated, I think, coaches in the game right now. So,
yeah. Definitely not underappreciated by the guys at ATT. They don't.
No, not at all. No, they all talk very highly of him. Yep. Next, Dave.
So, Paddy
wait, stop. Wait, stop. John, is this going to be a revolving door at 205 because Jon Jones now is gone? Because you've got, let's say Jiri wins. Now you've got Rakic fighting somebody as well. Whoever wins that fight, I mean, he's going to end up fighting, you know, whoever wins probably for the title. Do you think it's going to be a revolving door for a little bit until someone settles in to become the champ for a long time?
Unless Jon Jones decides to lose a lot of weight and go back down. Yeah. Let's just be honest. You don't get very, very rarely do you get the guy who is so dominant. And Jon was that guy. Yeah. And so now you're taking a look at, and people, you know, this is where, you know, it's all marketing and stuff. And the UFC has their thing, but, you know, oh, this is the greatest guy since. No. Yeah. Everybody else in the light heavyweight division, it's very close. And it's just a matter of, you know, on this night, this guy fights a little bit better. Jon was in that position where, let's just be honest, he could not train and he could not fight his best and he'd still come out with the win. Now, some of them were close at times, but he was still getting those wins. And then when he got motivated, you know, and this is the difference between, you know, him fighting someone like a Thiago Santos or a Dominic Reyes, or him fighting a DC. He got motivated with DC. When he was going to fight DC, Jon was training. He wanted to prove a point. So you have different levels of Jon Jones. And I think with the light heavyweights now, you've got a list of guys that could all be the guy on a given night. And so, yeah, I think you'll see the title changing hands more often.
Got it. Dave, what next?
So Paddy Pimblett is set to return UFC London. So UFC announced that they're returning to London, which was also a big announcement, on March 19th, and he's going to fight Jared Gordon. Oh, sorry, against Kazula.
No, he's
Vargas.
fighting Kazula Vargas.
My bad, John. My bad.
He was I think Dana White had come out saying that he was going to fight Jared Gordon, and then he came out saying, "No, I'm not." Now I don't know where the miscommunication was, but there was obviously some type of miscommunication between the fighters, the matchmakers, the president. Something got mixed up. Dana's not going to come out and say there's a fight that is not going to happen. As far as if he's told something, he'll put it out at times, but someone gave him bad information on the Jared Gordon.
Well, it could have been just a misunderstanding. Also, maybe there was two people that were there. Look, not just Dana, but Coker, and I've also worked with some other people in terms of promoters. You're dealing with a lot of fighters. We're dealing with a lot of fighters. Names get mixed up, and so it's probably just an honest mistake. But overall, Paddy Pimblett, he's gonna return in London, which is gonna be a little bit more pressure for him in the big promotion, fighting in front of his hometown. Now, sure, he used to fight there all the time. That's good. I get it. But it's not going to be the same. The crowd, the noise.
It'll be different.
It'll be different. So, we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. I mean, they're going to be doing him. I haven't heard of his opponent.
Yeah. Wonder why.
John. I mean, they're. But
going to London.
This is what the UFC does very well. We talked about this a bunch of time. They're good at building their fighters. No,
I'm not putting them down.
Not in this situation. Not in this situation. They've got a young, smart, talented prospect, so they're going to try to build up and give him some of the easier fights, which is good. Good for him.
Don't blame him.
I like him. Seems very marketable. He's got to cut his hair, man. Gosh, it's fucking driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy.
You don't like that haircut?
No, I don't like it.
Come on, man.
I'd like to see Michael Bisping with that haircut, though. That'd be great. Oh man, that'd be great.
That's horrible.
All right, next.
All right, last story. Another fight announcement. Tom Aspinall, John's dark horse for 2022, is booked to headline UFC London against Volkov.
There you go. See, moving him up. Hello,
yeah, Aspinall's the man. I'm telling you guys. I think Aspinall is the guy that's going to give it to the two guys we just saw last night. He's going to have I want to see his stand-up get a lot better, obviously, but him on the ground is way better than the other two we just saw last night. So, but does he have the wrestling to get it there? That's going to be the question. I like that he's slow playing it. He's taking his time. He's young. He's got plenty of time to grow. But I think he's going to end up being your champion later on, unless something terribly goes wrong. I think he's going to end up being the champion. Tom Aspinall, I think, is the guy. John,
he's got it all. You take a look at him. His wrestling's not bad.
Yeah,
his wrestling's actually gotten pretty damn good. His jiu-jitsu's really good. His stand-up is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
he moves pretty well for a heavyweight. I see in the future him and Ciryl Gane being a really interesting fight.
Yeah,
really interesting fight. I think it'll be a question of who gets in the top position. And right now, if it was a grappling, I'm going to tell you Aspinall's going to be that guy.
Yeah, I think Aspinall subs him if he can get him down. He's got to be able to get in on the legs and get him down, though.
Yep.
He's got decent wrestling, but he's got good enough wrestling to take him down. I think last night what we saw was Ngannou did a lot of forcing of the... Oh, shit. Lights went out. Sorry.
Look at that. You're in the dark. You've been in the dark your entire life.
That is not... That's not even...
That is real dark because he can't find anything. They just turned out the lights on.
I don't understand.
Man,
all these studios we go to, they all have... All these studios we go to, they all have the sensor lights. And I'm like, why? If you guys are in here filming for over an hour, I mean, like, just shut off. Anyways, I think Aspinall, yeah, these guys, the wrestling, the ability for Aspinall to get the takedown, if he can do that, I think he's going to have a good chance of becoming the champion. I think he's very well rounded. And if they slow play him, which I think they should, I know he's going to be main eventing, but that doesn't mean that he's going to end up fighting the top 3 and 4 guys. Here shortly. But like he said, he wants to get to his new contract.
What's Volkov, number 5?
Volkov, let me just see here. Volkov is number 5. Wow, John.
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah, look at that. So he's fighting in the top 5. Now it's hard to go back.
Oh, I thought he said he was fighting somebody else. Who's he fighting? Volkov?
Alexander Volkov.
Oh, I thought you said somebody else. I thought he said somebody else.
6'8" Volkov. Which, if you're looking at it, if Aspinall gets him down, the fight's over. Aspinall's going to get him.
Done.
But he's got to get him down.
Yeah, he's got to get past that push kick.
Yep.
That long jab and that push kick. What do I think you can do?
And that long jab. Exactly.
Yeah. Next, Dave.
Interesting.
That will wrap us up for today's show.
All right.
Ooh. Well,
Well,
All
we were
the way
able to all the way from Idaho, and then you're in Tennessee, and Podcast
Tennessee
Dave is in
Idaho.
Austin,
Austin, Texas.
Texas. So, overall good stuff. Hey, everyone, you guys, I want to remind you guys to tune in and watch my Kansas City Chiefs lay it down on the Buffalo Bills today.
Ooh,
Let's go, baby. Let's go. It's going to be a good game.
One.
I mean, realistically, there's a lot. I was really surprised that Tennessee lost yesterday to the Bengals. That
Cincinnati,
shocked
man.
me. And Cincinnati beat us.
Joe Burrow.
Cincinnati beat us Chiefs in Game 16 of the season, man. Right before we got into the playoffs. Not a very big confidence booster for myself. They're playing lights out right now. So hopefully, and the funny part is my brother's a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Oh, really?
So if it ends up the Chiefs and the Bengals in the championship AFC championship game, I'm gonna have to give them a little strangle.
It's gonna be tough for the Chiefs to get past the Bills if they play like they did last week.
Yeah, but we're playing in Kansas City though, which would be nice. Like they played in Buffalo last week. We're playing in Kansas City this time, so the crowd energy, I think, hopefully we get it done. Although we've had a better record on the road this year than we have at home, which seems weird the last 2 years. That's what's been going on. Maybe they just feel too comfortable at home. But regardless, hey, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. Use that promo code. And still, we have a new shirt up there called Beast Mode, or actually, like Dave likes to put it, is Beat Mode. But Beast Mode is up there. It's a cool artwork done by one of my buddies who does a lot of artwork for Marvel and some other people as well. And it was a pretty cool little design that he did for John and I and the Weighing In podcast. We'd love it. And so it's up. We put it up on a shirt for you guys. Take a pic. Take a look at it. Take a peek at it, as I was trying to say. And see what you guys think. Pick one up. Use that promo code and still. And post a picture of you guys wearing it. It's pretty dope. We loved it. And so hopefully you guys like it as well. Also, hit that subscribe button in our main channel and go down to the link down below. That'll take you to our Weighing In Extra channel. And we do a show there called Weighing Interjection. So hit that subscribe button there in our Weighing In Extra channel. And we had a great time. We're filming all the way from Idaho. I'm on the road traveling a little bit right now. And then next week, we have Bellator, which we will talk about on Tuesday in the heavyweight. Moldavsky, the interim champion, which is funny because the UFC just had interim champion versus champion. And that's what we have with Moldavsky versus Ryan Bader and the interim champion versus the champion. And that should be a good fight, good card. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So we'll be on the road next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, whatever it is for most people. So make sure you guys tune in. That will be on Showtime. All right, John.
Showtime.
Take us away, my friend.
Everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the UFC 270 as much as I did, and I know the Punk didn't like it as much, but that's okay. Just do me a favor, go out there, be kind to someone, and we will see you.